nonse, Sambonani. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Black Friday session. You're with me, your host LTK, reporting live from the warm heart of Africa, Malawi. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about bed bugs, the new border management authority in South Africa, and so many more. So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button, turn notifications on so that you get an update whenever we drop a video. And man, I'd really appreciate the feedback in the comments. Let me know what you think about this new show that we're trying to start. What sort of topics would you like me to cover in the next videos? What more suggestions can you have for the show and all that good stuff? So man, let's get the show cracking. The first thing that's been trending, I think, for the whole past week is the bed bugs outbreak in France. Bed bugs have been reported to be seen all over France in places like cinemas, public transportation systems, thus buses, planes, and the like. And I've had a personal experience with bed bugs, and those little creatures are really persistent and hard to get rid of. I remember it took me close to a year to finally get rid of the bed bugs. Long story short, I was on a field visit to another part of Malawi, another country, a much smaller district. And at the time, I was really low on cash. I'd gone there, of course, for work, and I couldn't afford like a decent place to sleep. And the only place that I could afford was this shady-looking place somewhere in the middle of the district. And I got there. I spent 2 nights there. We did our work, and then when we went back to the city, a week later, I discovered that I discovered bed bugs basically, and I got pesticide after pesticide. I got recommendation from so many people, do this, but then it took me like a whole year to finally get rid of the bed bugs. Well, lucky enough, I finally got rid of the bed bugs, and I think I'll probably share the tip at the end of the video, like how to get rid of bed bugs. But that's basically what's been happening around France. And what does that have to do with like a Black Friday session? So I mean, we're living in a global village, so anything that happens in one part of the world is most likely, to end up affecting us. And actually, some other African countries are now taking initiatives and steps to make sure that whenever planes coming from France and the like, they're properly disinfected, and the like. So what do you guys think? I remember last time when we had the COVID outbreak, once an African country would be deemed, or once COVID was detected in an African country, planes were immediately banned. No more planes or traveling from this place to this place. And with this bedbug infestation, what do you think? If maybe we had a bedbug infestation from one of the African countries, do you think we would have been banned, or is it just me trying to stir up some drama? But let me know what you think in the comments. But I personally think that's what could have definitely happened. But the response from the global community is that they are now working towards disinfecting planes that are coming from France and countries like Algeria, which have a lot of movement between the two countries, are really investing in ensuring that they tighten what they're calling health screening initiatives to ensure that they control the bedbug outbreak. So it's basically what is happening out there in France. I don't know if maybe that contributed to the poor performance of PSG against Newcastle. I mean, hey, you never know. So that's about it regarding the issue of bed bugs. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel, to this show rather, to this particular episode, so that I should tell you at the end how to effectively deal with bed bugs. Of course, what the authorities and the experts are saying are that the increase in the bed bug outbreak is basically due to the increased resistance of bed bugs to the pesticides and the medicines that have been using to control them over the years. So there were indeed, outbreaks, not outbreaks, but then bed bugs are found here and there, and you know they'll apply the chemicals that they normally did and think that they're done with them, but then like I said, they're very, very persistent. So it eventually led to to the outbreak. Of course, other parts or other people are denying that it's not really an outbreak, but I mean the evidence is clear from the media outlets and the like that it's a serious issue in France. So yeah, if you're traveling from France coming to Africa, make sure you're well disinfected. We don't bring that out here. And if you mix the bedbug outbreak with poor hygiene, then that's just a totally different story, man. That's just a recipe for disaster. Yeah. Let me know what you think in the comments about this bedbug issue. What are your personal experiences with bedbugs? How did you get rid of them? And like the question that I posed, you think if maybe there was a bedbug outbreak in one of the African countries, would we have received some sort of bannings or restrictions or whatever? Just let me know what you think in the comments. The second thing that I want to talk about today is the Border Management Authority that was recently launched in South Africa by President Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa. So they're saying that, according to the president, he says that it's a vital link in harnessing the benefits of the African continental trade area, as well as curbing illegal migration and human trafficking. So when I first heard this, I was not really happy, because I feel like as African countries, we should be moving more towards a unified sort of structure. Malawi, for example, we have a population of about 20 million, a GDP of about 7 billion, 8 billion, and we're a landlocked country. And the dynamics of it all are that it's going to be very hard for us to hit the preferable GDP per capita targets and the like, fight poverty and reach that sort of development that we would like to reach, because of the all these factors that are against us, including being landlocked and the like. But if we open up ourselves to a bigger market, of course there are arguments against this that I feel like they can always be handled. But if we open up ourselves to a bigger market, to a bigger Africa, then we stand a chance to take a piece of the cake from a bigger cake. So when you start bringing in restrictions of travel and movement, and I feel like it's counterproductive, and we're moving steps backwards to achieving the continental free trade area and the like. Of course, I will admit that with the recent increase in migrants from different parts of Africa, particularly Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Mozambique and Zambia, flocking to South Africa for greener pastures, has led to such type of developments. But it's creating an authority, really, a way of dealing with all these issues. I mean, people are always going to find a way around. You build a wall, people are going to climb over the wall, they're going to dig under it. I personally feel that we're not addressing the root of the problem. The root of the problem is poverty, lack of opportunities for young people. Those are the issues that have to be, dealt with in these individual countries. And okay, some people might raise an argument to say that, look, that's not South Africa's job, right? That is the job of those other countries. But if we're living in a global village, and in this part of our global village we're having this type of problem, it needs communal efforts. Even the president, Emerson Mnangagwa, I hope I said that right, the president of Zimbabwe, was in attendance and had a meeting beforehand with President Cyril Ramaphosa on the same. So I believe that the said countries really need to increase their efforts towards creating opportunities, and just making like businesses, especially small scale businesses, making their lives far much easier. And that type of way, you will not see a lot of people flocking to South Africa, as is the case currently. You look at places like Europe and even America. People can freely travel from one state to the other state. Of course, it's a federal state, but I mean these are big states, bigger than even some countries in Africa. So if we want to gain meaningful meaningful development, in my personal opinion, I really believe that we need to allow for the free movement of people. No visas, no restrictions. We can have regulations, of course, but then let's not make traveling from one African country to another cumbersome. So, man, those are just my views on the new Border Management Authority. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's not a good idea? And what sort of proposals would you have to the increasing migration of people from these countries that neighbor South Africa? The other thing that we also have to talk about when we're talking about this is the increased xenophobic attacks and the sort of negative attitudes towards foreigners. We've seen it through the Operation Dudula movement and all those other type of things where foreigners are harassed and some are beaten, chased out of their houses, and the message is always the same, that pack up and go back home. I feel like when we start building sort of structures, like the Border Management Authority, that just intensifies the sort of hate and negative attitude towards foreigners, because it's like the government is also it's a way of speaking of the government saying we don't want foreigners, as much as maybe what they're talking about, curbing human trafficking and illegal migration, it sounds good and the like, but then word on the street it can amplify into something else. So I'm strongly against xenophobia. I'm strongly against hating against any fellow black person. I'm actually against hating any other person, despite the color of their skin or where they're coming from. I think we as humans, we only have this small place that we call Earth, and we're supposed to live harmoniously with one another. But once we start building this type of structures, that just bring more and more division. And wasn't that always the tactic that was used by the colonizers, divide and conquer? But now the powers that be don't even have to divide us. I mean, it's literally now an in thing that we want to be divided, by even creating structures like this. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I guess let's end this broadcast on a lighter note, and let's talk about football. So on Wednesday it was recently revealed that Morocco is going to host the next AFCON, AFCON 2025. So the African Cup of Nations is like the biggest football event in Africa. It sees the top countries coming together for a period and battling it out for the AFCON Cup. And in the year 2025, this will be hosted in Morocco. And recently, Morocco had an unfortunate natural disaster. But the reports that are coming in is that efforts are really underway, and it's recovering. And I'm sure that once some of those effects are dealt with, then preparations are going to go full throttle. And Morocco is relatively, not even relatively, it's a very, very prosperous country. And I'm sure that by 2025, everything will be set for the AFCON World Cup. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you're going to attend, if you wish to attend. I personally, I'm really trying to see what sort of strings I can pull to make sure I attend the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Also, let me know in the comments if your country has qualified for it. The last time I checked, my country, home country, was not doing all that good in the international, when it comes to international football. So I might have to, support one of our neighbors and the like. But yeah, so and in 2027, Uganda will be the main host of the Africa Cup of Nations. Despite the fact that they do not have, enough internationally accredited stadiums, but they've made a promise to invest and make sure that by 2025, by 2027, there'll be enough stadiums. It takes an average of 2 years for a stadium to be built, according to some experts, of course, depending on a number of factors. And they're confident that by 2027, they will have built all the stadiums necessary to make sure that they'll host a memorable World Cup. So yeah, congratulations to Morocco, congratulations to Uganda. And of course, Uganda will not host it alone. It'll host it in conjunction with Kenya and Tanzania. Yeah, so I guess that's what we had for today's show. That's just a brief of the major things that are happening around the globe, and affecting black people in this past week. So let me know in the comments what you guys would like me to talk about in my subsequent videos. In our script today, we were also planning to talk about Tupac's the recent arrests in connection to Tupac's murder, and there was a bit of back and forth between me and some of the people that helped me write the script, that I think maybe we should leave this one out. So let me know, would you also like to be hearing about such iconic black legends and things that surround them, or are you just interested in current affairs? Yeah, so like I promised that towards the end I'll give you what I did to get rid of the bed bugs, and maybe there's a tip that you can use. So this is what I did. I made sure that I collected, of course it was only one room affected. In my whole house it was only one room that was affected, so I just made sure I took everything out of the house, literally everything, and left my room like empty. And so I boiled water, and I poured water in the empty room. Like, just make sure that I wash the walls with hot water, because sometimes the issues of eggs. So even if you get the room disinfected and the live bed bugs die, but then the eggs still remain, and then the eggs hatch, then it leads to more bed bugs. So I had to make sure that I get rid of all the eggs that might be in the room. So hot water poured in the room, and then I took my bed out, I took my stand out, I took everything out, poured hot water on everything. Like, this was like hot water, like fresh from like the fire, boiling hot water. I poured it on like everything that was in my room. I had somebody help me wash all the clothes with hot water as well. All the clothes I had, every piece of cloth that I had. And I had to burn and get rid of other things like old books, I think even a mosquito net, and so many other things. So I burned them, and then afterwards I when everything was dry, I put it back in its place. And then I used of course this is not a paid ad, but there's some chemical that is found in most parts of southern Africa. It's called Blue Death. It's a white powder, and I sprinkled it all over my room, all over my clothes. It was all over. I just sprinkled it all over the place. And yeah, after I did that, I never ever had a bedbug problem again. So of course, sometimes you'd wait after a week and then they would, resurface. But I stayed 3-4 weeks, no bedbugs, and that's how I knew that I finally got rid of them. And ever since then, I do not want bed bugs ever again, because I struggled for like a really long time. So I remember a friend of mine was also got arrested, and he was complaining that while he was in the cell, he noticed that there are a lot of bed bugs. So what he did is, as soon as he got home, before even entering the house, he made sure that he stripped down and got rid of all the clothes that he wore in prison. Like, he burnt them. And that's the only way to deal with them, because they're very, very persistent, like I say. So yeah, I think our time is up. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you stayed from the beginning to the end, thumbs up to you. I'd like to end with a saying. I think I promised in one of my other videos that we'll always say, we'll also bring up a saying or something, just to motivate, encourage as well, just to get you thinking. So today's saying is a Nigerian proverb that says that a man or a woman who sells eggs in the market is the last person to start a fight. A man or a woman who sells eggs in a market is the last person to start a fight. I'll let you guys interpret that one. Thank you very much for tuning in. See you again next week Friday. Power to the people. Peace.